So I don't typically release episodes today, but I want to give you guys an update on the rebrand that I am doing on the show. I don't know if you noticed, but the title changed. The podcast is now called Podcasting for Latinas CEOs with podcast coach Heidy de la Cruz, which is me. And the description changed a little bit. And I am going to talk about podcasting. So, when I initially started the podcast, I called it Digital Marketing for Latinas, and podcasting does fall under digital marketing. And like everything that I've talked about previously does fall under digital marketing, but it also falls under podcasting. So, a lot of the previous episodes that I talked about, email marketing or blogging, social media, all of that still applies to podcasting too. So I have been working with a coach, and I started working with her right after a little bit after I started this podcast and, signed up for the UBC course. And when we started working together, we have known each other for like 3 years now. And I told her about this new podcast and everything. And so she was telling me, you're known for podcasting. So it's like, why is your podcast not about podcasting? And I had told her, well, I didn't want a podcast about podcasting. Like I refused to do that. And for years, I had thought about like starting a second podcast to share my podcasting tips because I was only doing that on my blog. But I kept telling myself, like, I don't want a podcast about podcasting. And so then she told me, pretty much was like, get out of your own way. What are you talking about? Like, this is your niche. Like, this is what you are an expert in. Yes, I do have experience with digital marketing and blogging and email lists and social media, but I am known for podcast launching, right? And that is what I help my clients do. And so here I am rebranding after 10 episodes to podcasting for Latina CEOs. And I don't want the CEO to feel intimidating. CEOs is literally for any Latina who is ready to take ownership of her life, whether that is starting a podcast as a hobby or starting a podcast as a business or starting a podcast as a passion project, whatever the case may be, you are the CEO of that. You are taking ownership of what you want to do. So, not CEOs like for businesses or corporate, no. If you are Latina, ready to take ownership of your life with a podcast, this show is for you. So, this was just a quick episode, just letting you guys know that the show has been rebranded and I am going to be talking about all things podcasting. So, digital marketing or podcasting does fall under digital marketing. So, a lot of the strategies can be applied for an online businesses or a podcast. So, think of it this way podcasting is a business. It can be a business, right? But it can also be a passion project or a hobby. But right now, this is my business. So I'm going to be talking all things podcasting, sharing tips on and strategies on how to grow, how to start, how to pivot, just like I'm doing right now, how to pivot, when to pivot, and how to do it too, right? Because you can start one thing and, at the very beginning, kind of shift, just like I'm doing and realizing, okay, like I want to talk about this more or whatever the case may be. That is one of the greatest benefits of podcasting is that you can change and shift and pivot at any time for something that feels authentic to you and real to you because we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always evolving, we're always learning, right? And so I am doing this so you can do this too. And I want to help you with your podcasting journey or your online business journey or, combining the two because again, podcasting is a business. All right. Now I feel like I just rambled on and on and on for a long time, but I just wanted to give that quick update that the show is now called Podcasting for Latinas CEOs with podcast coach me, Heidy de la Cruz. And next week, episodes will still be released every single Thursday. That's not changing. What next week episode is going to be is how to launch a podcast using my proven voice method. So I will talk in details on what the voice method is and how you can use it to launch your own podcast. And then also the 3 options that I have available to work with me on launching your podcast. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for being with me in this journey, sticking with me through this pivot. And also let me know what podcasting questions you have that I can answer in the show. All right. So follow me on Instagram at Heidy de la Cruz 13. You can also sign up for the podcast newsletter. The link is in the show notes and show description. And then that way I can send you the episodes every Thursday when they drop. So you just have it in your email and then you can just click the link and listen to the episode. And what else? I think that's it. I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Mommy Podcast.